I'm not mad at that, and I also think there needs to be a little bit of distance between the actor and the people. Now, this might be controversial, I don't know, but I feel like you don't have to be your character to play the character. By that meaning, I wouldn't have a problem with you playing a transgendered person. I wouldn't have a problem with you playing a straight person. I wouldn't have a problem if I got cast as a gay person. I just think it's acting. Didn't Sean Penn play Milk, and that was a gay character. I'm pretty sure Sean Penn is not gay. I just think that ultimately serve the movie, serve the story, tell it the best that it could be. Yes.
How do you feel about like Jenny Slate?
Who is that?
She came down from her role on Big Mouth.
Goofy.
She played a black
goofiness
as getting replaced by an actual black voice actress.
Come on, man. There was no black person out there with a sign saying, I want to be this black cartoon. Nobody. Like, you got the role. Just do it. Like, now, there is a difference between her playing a black cartoon, who I think the cartoon is half black, half Jewish, something like that.
Something like that.
Okay. When I was at AMDA and I took a voiceover class, I remember my teacher, don't remember her name, nice lady though. She was talking about her first role in the industry. She's a small Jewish white lady, and she was talking about her first role was an old Asian man. You gonna be upset at that? No. Because she just served the role. She did it. And you would never know. Now, if she is playing a small Asian man live action, that's a different story. Because now it's like, well, that doesn't serve the role. No matter how much makeup or this or that you put on her, that is, it's a little off of what we're seeing. But as far as like personal stuff, like, whatever. I don't really care.
It's kind of the point of voice acting. You don't have to look like the character cartoon you're going to play.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. What do you guys think?
With as far as like LGBT actors and trans actors, I think it's like slightly privileged to say it doesn't matter, because even as far as race is concerned, because I think that a lot of those roles are written and they only are written to address that identity. Trans actors are not having the privilege of being cast
without playing a
trans actor. Like, they don't have that opportunity of what's the word? They don't have the opportunity of being cast quote unquote blindly. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to compete for roles that you're up for.
Right.
So for a cisgendered actor to come and take the parts that even they can't even play, that cater specifically to them and their identity, for them to not even have a level playing field to be able to audition for those parts, I don't think that's fair.
Okay. I don't necessarily think that they can audition. Like, I'm thinking on the opposite side of the camera. I'm just thinking, if I want to make a movie and I want to tell this story, I want to do it the best that I can make it happen. Mm-hmm. So if a cisgendered person and a transgendered person came and auditioned, and I just liked the cisgendered person more, I think they fit the story better. They delivered a better performance. I wouldn't blink twice. I wouldn't look twice at saying, all right, well, you got the role because you served what I was looking for. That's what I mean to say.
But I think the argument is that the trans actors are not even being let into the room.
Well, I don't think that that's okay.
And so I think that's where the argument comes, where, well, why can't anyone play anything? It's because everyone's not being given the chance to play everything.
Sure.
When half of the awards that have been won for playing an LGBT actor are played by straight men, then no. Like, it's great to think that it should be a fair opportunity for everyone, but that's not the playing field that we're on right now.
So what's the solution to that? Because I don't ever know if I would ever bend in a direction to say, like, oh, well, you have to be gay for this, or else I can't. Like, I don't know if I could provide that in good thought. I would audition everybody and just make sure that, just like I've always done in the past, whoever is right for the role gets the role.
Then I would argue that maybe those aren't stories you should be personally telling. You know what I mean? If you're writing stories that require a queer person of color, and you're not having those considerations, either A, step back and get some of those people on your team. Because if you and I were making a movie, we were casting that part, and you brought in 4 straight black men, me as someone on your production team would take you aside and be like, Kelby, we need to take a step back and think about the story that we're telling.
So I don't think I would bring in 4 straight black men. I think I would bring in 1 straight black man, 1 gay black man, 1 transgendered black man. I would be diverse about it. What I'm saying is, I'm not talking about the outcome. You're talking about the opportunity. I'm talking about the outcome. I'm saying I don't understand. I don't necessarily understand if what served the greater project, the larger project, the bigger entity best is if somebody who doesn't identify as the character plays the character. But I'm not saying that the opportunity, because if the opportunity came about and the transgendered person just happens to be a transgendered person and the character's calls for that, and they delivered exactly what I was looking for, then they get the role.
But I guess it goes back to the question of, why are you telling a story with that person?
What if it's just a character in the story? It's something in the world.
You don't think someone who with that identity would enhance that character?
I can't say that for sure, because somebody who acts a certain way can't deliver the same performance on camera. It's not the same thing. It doesn't equate.
I think it doesn't equate, but say we're casting the role of Tommy. Tommy is a transgendered man.
Okay.
And we are looking for someone to play Tommy. If actor A is a cisgendered man and actor B is a transgendered actor, you don't think that you would spend less time with actor B because they're bringing something to the role that you've written that you don't have to ask them to act?
No, I would spend equal time with both of them, because I don't know what actor B can do as far as the performance. I don't know if the character is supposed to have a certain comedic timing or something specific about it that makes the project really good. Just like we were talking about with Euphoria, she fits in the world so perfectly because it was well cast. So for me, I would just spend time with both of them to see who does the best job. But I can't, in good thought, say, well, you're already this, and it's a part of the it's a part of the script. But I actually don't even feel like that's fair to them, because not all transgendered people act the same or have the same personality. So how am I supposed to say, hey, just because you're a transgender person, you fit the character in my script? But you may not. You may not, but I think that the opportunity should be there for them to be able to bring something to the table initially. I'm not saying that you need someone who's going to act trans or look trans or talk trans. I'm saying that you would cast someone who would have all of that history and that information that would automatically inform the character before you even start. And then you as a director will do your job to make sure that they are the character. I mean, essentially, it sounds like you're saying I need to direct them. But again, acting is not based off of your personality. It's just not. It's something that we all went to college to craft. It is a skill that you have to understand, that you build and learn.
But trans is not a personality. That's
exactly what I'm saying. if we're writing characters and we're writing personalities, I can't in good thought say, well, I'm going to just choose you because you are one segment of the character. But what about everything else?
Well, it's the same way you wouldn't cast a 21-year-old to play a 50-year-old.
They cast J-Law to do it, didn't they?
They did, but you wouldn't be like, let's cast this 21-year-old and put them in makeup because they did the best part. Why do that when you could just get a 50-year-old actor who's already 50? You know what I mean? Like, and then that's different from the character you're trying to tell. The character you're casting as a bank robber. You're not going to go get a bank robber, but they're 50 years old. So why are you looking for a 25-year-old?
Okay, let me ask you this. When it comes to the world of acting, in one movie, you'll play one thing. But when the movie's done, there's other roles. So does that do them a favor? Does that do a trans actor a favor to continuously play trans characters? Does that service them in any way? Because at the end of the day, the industry will just continue to look at them like, hey, this is the trans actor. But can they not just play a role?
But that's not the job that you're doing. Don't worry about
it is.
No, it's not. Don't worry about the career. Just worry about the part. I mean, you're not casting someone hoping that they don't get cast as a bank robber for the rest of their life. You're just trying to cast this part.
No, I'm thinking about the greater good. I'm thinking about the best person for the role. And should it be a trans person, fine. But I don't necessarily think that it's fair to be like, well, trans actors are not getting any roles, so we got to make them play trans. It's like, huh? It's like saying gay people don't get a lot of roles, so they have to play gay people. But that just puts you in this shoebox where you're no longer an actor. You're not even a person anymore. You're just gay and then a person. But why don't you just showcase your skill and your talent before all of that other stuff?
I disagree. I mean, go back to when white actors were playing every part. They were literally putting on makeup to play black people.
Sure.
Now, when a Hattie McDaniels or a Sidney Poitier comes along, they're being cast as black people because those are the only parts that they were able to get at the time.
Right.
They weren't casting Hattie McDaniels as Scarlett O'Hara.
Okay, so I think this is where you got me mixed up. I think black people should play black people. I think white people should play white people. I think Asian people should play Asian people. But those are things that you can't, like, you cannot change that about yourself. And you can't change that visually, in a visual sense. But if you're looking at Neil Patrick Harris, who has played straight, he's played everything. That's how I envision it. I just see him as an actor, but I see his personal life be in the back burner. He's just a very talented guy who could play these roles. So I just don't understand why it has to be more like, if you're this, you play this. But that's not really, like, I don't know. That doesn't service anybody.
I'm not saying to continue that. Eventually, after Hattie and Sydney, we get Will Smith, we get Halle Berry, and they are not cast solely in roles that are only meant for black people. But at that time, those were the only opportunities available. So for people to cast white people in black roles and put them in blackface, and then eventually to move that to, okay, we'll use black people. And now we're here where black people are being offered roles that don't specifically identify with their race. Trans actors are still back there to the point where they're not getting the opportunities to play any part.
Let me ask you this. What's the bigger move? Me saying you're a trans person, I'm going to give you a trans role, or saying you're a woman, I'm going to give you the role of a woman? What's the bigger action?
I think the bigger action right now is visibility and information. I don't want to speak for the trans community because I'm a cisgendered man, but I'm saying right now, the answer is if they're there, put them in the part. Is that fair? I don't
No.
know, but I honestly don't care because we're not at equality yet. And the cards are stacked against them the same way that they're stacked against us. And we can't talk about equality yet because not everyone's equal. You know what I mean? And
I understand.
So I'm not saying forever and always if it's a trans actor they can only play a trans person. But I'm saying right now they're not even being allowed to play trans people.
Right. I understand that. I have a friend who is in the biz, who is deep in the biz, and maybe one day I can give her a call and have her on the show.
Yeah.
We'll be back.